So our opponents tonight have to prove that the marriage policy that has existed in the United States throughout our entire history, up until a decade ago, that marriage is the union of male and female, is somehow prohibited by our Constitution. But the only way our opponents can argue this is to adopt a view of marriage that sees it as essentially a genderless institution, and then declare that the Constitution requires their vision of marriage. Simply appealing to the Equal Protection Clause isn't enough. To have the Supreme Court strike down these democratically enacted marriage laws, our opponents have to claim that this vision of marriage is simply false, that there are no good reasons that could support it, and that our Constitution requires an entirely new understanding of marriage. But our Constitution is silent on what marriage is and what purposes the states should devise marriage policy to serve. There are good policy arguments on both sides of this debate. There are good policy arguments to say marriage is just about consenting adult love and caregiving, irrespective of the genders of the party. There are good arguments that say marriage is inherently a gendered institution that unites a man and a woman as husband and wife, so that any children that result from that union have a mother and a father. Good arguments on both sides. Constitution is silent. And so in our constitutional regime, that question resolves by the people and their elected representatives. So as Austin suggested, this isn't a debate about what marriage is. It's a debate about who gets to decide what marriage is. My co-authors and I, we've made philosophical arguments for why we think marriage is the union of a man and a woman, but we wouldn't want the judges to say that every state has to adopt our preferred definition of marriage. We don't think the Constitution requires our definition of marriage. We simply think it allows our definition of marriage. Likewise, I don't think the Constitution prohibits same-sex marriage. I don't think it requires same-sex marriage. I think it allows same-sex marriage. And the question of what marriage should be is one that we, the people, have to decide. And we decide it in the vote that matters most, the vote at the ballot box. And so as law shapes culture and culture shapes law, all of these voices, all of these arguments should be heard, considered, reflected upon, and then we, the people, should vote.